Hey everybody, how's your 8th week going? So next week is 9th week and your second reflection papers are due. All of the options are online, and then we thought we'd give you a 6th option. As you know, Thanksgiving is next week, and we thought it'd be a good time for you guys to go home and talk to your families, tell them a little bit about what you've learned, get their feedback, see how much they know about a lot of this stuff, and then write your one-page reflection just on the whole experience of that, and then you can turn that in early 10th week or the end of 9th week instead of on Wednesday. Does anyone have any questions about that? No? Okay, then here's, I mean, it doesn't have to be very formal, just, talk about what you guys talked about and react on it. Yeah, but you don't have to transcribe what everyone talked about. Okay.
Before we get started with our speakers today, we just have a couple announcements. We had talked earlier about having some field trips, and this weekend we are planting trees in Angeles National Forest from 10 to 1 on Saturday. So if you guys are interested, email or call Lucino. His contact information is on the board. He's organizing the carpooling, but I like to talk. It's time to walk, so I hope you guys get excited. Here's Lucino.
I wanted to add one more thing about the reflection papers. I wanted to say a few things. First of all, I haven't had a chance to read all of them. I don't think all of us have, but we will probably once our quarter's over. I still haven't had a chance to do my 4th week reading from my geography class, so I mean, got backup things to do. Some of them are amazing. I noticed that some of them, though, are kind of a little bit of just a summary of what the speaker said. So I'd really try to stress, even though we're not grading and it doesn't really, it's not, we can't grade you wrong. I'd stress to try to really take the opportunity to kind of reflect on maybe yourself and something that you've learned or things that have come up for you in the class. Because through that process, I think that you gain a lot through writing. I know I have through my writing. So I would just kind of try to stress that when doing those next reflection papers. And if you want us to comment on them, just put hey, comment. And we'll try to do that maybe after our finals are over. The other thing I wanted to mention, so email me about carpooling. There's also a kayak cleanup on Sunday that E3 is doing. That's at, they're meeting at, they go down to the Marina Del Rey Aquatic Center, and it's actually free of charge, I'm pretty sure, for all UCLA students to use the kayaks. So what they do is they go out into Marina Del Rey and they kind of clean up debris and all kinds of stuff that's in the water, and it's fun because you get to, splash around in the kayaks and stuff. So you can email me about that too. Kathy Tran is organizing that, but I don't think she's here, and I don't have her email address on hand. So if you email me, I'll send you information about that. I believe it's 10 a.m. at Ackerman Turnaround, going from 11 till 2. The other thing that I wanted to say, and I'll preface this with basically Wednesdays have become my new Saturdays. So I've said this to a few people. I really enjoy being up here. This has been a really good experience, leading this class and getting to engage with everyone. And so I kind of wanted to open that up, or we kind of wanted to open that up to new people who wanted to get involved. So and discuss different ideas, different opportunities for the ESLP program. I mean, it's come a long way since its inception and because of student involvement. So basically, I wanted to have a meeting/dinner, actually, because I love to cook. And I was thinking about Monday, tentatively. It depends on what your guys' availability is and who's interested. So whether you're mildly interested and you maybe want to get involved a little bit behind the scenes in terms of doing outreach, there's possibilities for next year's lecture series. There's talk of maybe doing it in the spring again, or perhaps singular events. There's all kinds of events that we can do outside of just a class. So if you guys want to get involved, just come after class and talk to me, or give me an email, and we'll set up a time where we can have like dinner and kind of chat and, talk about the future and the possibilities. So I think that's about it. And
All right, so without further ado, I would like to introduce Jules Gervais. Jules is an expert in local foods, and I know a lot of times you guys hear about problems, but Jules is a perfect example of a solution. He is as local as food gets. So, Jules Gervais, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike, Lucina, and Isis for inviting me here, but can I also come to dinner? Okay, well, I'm from up the road a piece in Pasadena near the Rose Bowl. You might know that place. You might have also parked on my street because the 210 runs behind my property, and we've seen UCLA cars on our street. So we wish you well. Now, 25 years ago, I cashed in my 10-acre plot in Florida, Central Florida, to buy a fifth of an acre plot, a little fractional acreage in Pasadena. And so this is a story of how I got here. And has anybody ever seen our website, Path to Freedom? That's okay, some of you have already seen that. Has anybody seen a movie called Homegrown Revolution? Okay. We're here to offer some solutions. You know about the inconvenient truth. And for years now, I've been striving to walk, so it's a work in progress. So I'm not here to say I've made it at all, but I'm trying to walk the inconvenient solution. And this is an inconvenient place, Southern California, to even have a solution, because this is really odd in Southern California to have local food. In fact, one of your questions that you had to answer at the eco footprint, I think, thing about food, you answered that there was not very many local foods available at all, very little, and that's a fact. So what I've done is go back and try to find out what people did in the old days, and they did have kitchen gardens, but I maxed my yard out, so it's a kitchen gardens extreme. So now we have a way, because we're not old-fashioned farmers, I have a way using my children, adults now, but they were into the tech revolution, and we've put out a little video. The last time we showed it was a year ago, and it's now on YouTube, and it has over 110,000 viewers. So you want to show that one, and then we'll talk. Oh, sorry, you want to get the lights again? Yeah. We put that together for a UCLA class last November, and since then it's been invited to the Wild and Scenic Film Festival up in Nevada City in January. So that's what happens when you start something. And it was started because of a UCLA class. My children put that together just to attract the students, because they think they would be interested in the music. So, as in all matters of life, can you hear me all right? As in all matters of life, it all revolves around choices. And having this program here at UCLA is a good choice, a good starting point. You're attending the class and doing your assignments is a good starting point. And that means that there's still hope in the world, which you have to believe after you read the newspapers and see everything else that's going on. And it has become pretty disastrous. The bad news that was here last year, that I had to deliver last year to a class, it's gotten worse than ever, than everybody could have even imagined with the collapse of this economy. You have Iceland, a country, going bankrupt. Figure that out. So the reason I decided to go for broke in 2001 was because of genetically modified foods. They came out in Taco Bell shells were in the grocery stores. In fact, it was in Vons, and we would shop at Vons, and we were taking that regularly. We liked the taco shells. But Starlink corn, the genetically modified version, came out, and it slipped out of the animal food chain that they were going to feed to the animals, and it got into the human food chain. And then I knew I couldn't trust anybody, and so I started my own project, my own protest. Now, there's been a change in the world when you know this is happening, that companies are looking at green as something more than environmental. They're looking at it as cash green. They're not, they know where the money is to be had. So if you're familiar with Tom's of Maine as an environmental company, well, they got bought out by Colgate. If you're familiar with Burt's Bees and their products, they got bought out by Clorox. And if anybody knows about Seminus, have you heard the word Seminus? Has anybody heard that? Okay, that's the #1 producer of seeds in the world, breeder and producer of seeds in the world. It was located in Mexico, and Monsanto bought that one out several years ago. And so they vaulted from obscurity to #1 seed producer in the world. They also went ahead and bought the #8 producer in the world. Now you have, in the top 4 range of the seed producers of the world, you have Monsanto, followed by DuPont, Syngenta, and Dow. You read the handwriting on the wall. So it is scary times, and you have to ask yourself, who's in control? And what do they want? And this is what industrial agriculture is all about. They have an agenda. It seems like it's a happy area to be in, because you're going to get big crops, big harvest. It sounds good. I mean, industrial. So if I say, let's do this thing where you come back. When I say industrial, though, what is the first thing you think of when I say industrial? You think of what? Manufacturing, factory. Anything else? Mass production. Okay. When I say, pardon? Smokestacks. Okay, that's right. When I say engineering, what do you think of?
Innovation.
Anybody else? Engineering? Laboratories. Good.
Innovation.
Okay. How about engineering? What? Engineering buildings, bridges. What else? Cars. Okay. Now, that's funny, because when we're talking about industrial agriculture, it's like saying to me, cuddly snake. Okay, or warm ice. Industrial and agriculture, does that go together? Does manufacturing an assembly line of cars the same as having an assembly line to produce chicken eggs? Can you do that switch? Can you, in your mind, can you see cars going through and getting produced? Can you see eggs going through an assembly line process and being produced? Is building a cell phone or a computer the same thing as building a calf? When you want to take a calf and raise it up for veal, is it the same thing? Can you do the same input as you would building a cell phone? But that's where the problem is, and it's being accepted, though. It's so pervasive that it is acceptable now to use the two terms together. Now, what we're doing is we're resisting, and the homegrown film and the homegrown way that I'm doing it, I'm the nemesis of industrial agriculture. I made myself to be that for my family. Anyway, in my own family, in my own lifestyle, I'm set out to be the nemesis. You know those Spider-Man movies, and there's always a nemesis, and then the others, Batman, there's a nemesis. Well, this homegrown is to counter the industrial effects, that they want you to believe that this is going to feed the world. So one of the things that you want to look at is the seed production that we have in the world today. There's the old-fashioned seed production, which is open-pollinated. So get used to looking for open-pollinated. If you're going to go plant gardens, look for the open-pollinated kind, because those seeds reproduce themselves. Okay. Now the hybrids that have come on, that look like a miracle thing for why not get a hybrid? And that's great. Huh? It sounds good on a car, right? A hybrid Prius. Well, a hybrid does not produce itself true and as strong as the original seed. So your production is going to get less and less. So guess what you have to do when you produce hybrids? You have to buy some more hybrids. Okay, open pollinated, you're looking at food security. Hybrid, you're looking at a diminished food security. GMO, which has terminator seeds, where the seeds actually commit suicide. They will not reproduce themselves next year. That plant will not reproduce themselves. Now you're guaranteed you must go back to buy those seeds. So if you're getting the message here, where's that security where you can be independent and free? And what all throughout history man has been able to do is get their seeds, because seeds equals food equals life. Now where is life going to come from? Agribusiness, So you have to take back control, and one of the ways is to go local. And in going local, there was a 2007 Oxford Dictionary Word of the Year, and it was called, does anybody know what that word would be in 2005? Okay, locavores. Thank you. So it was obviously somebody would eat local. And I decided to take this plan and see what's happening and design it as a bullseye. So the bullseye we have on the board is if your average is 1,400 miles, this average salad travels 1,400 miles, then you're on the outer ring. If fortunately we're in California, because California with the San Joaquin Valley can produce a lot of food, so you can stay within the 500 mile. You know, if you why truck it someplace else? They're getting a lot from the San Joaquin Valley. There's some the ladies that did the locavore word, they were looking for a 100-mile diet, eat within 100 miles. Now we've experimented with that in a potluck at our place, and you might do that at dinner. You can go to Trader Joe's and other places, and you can ask them, where does that food come? And we had people that sent the boys, the waiters or whatever we call them, clerks, scattering all over, trying to ask the management, where's this food grown? And that's what you're doing. You're instigating change and you're inciting a change in what they're. If you get enough people going in there, they will wonder what's going on. So this 100-mile diet can be had if you ask and you pick and you choose. What we're doing. Well, okay, one more thing out here would be the ultimate right now is if you're eating grapes at this season, you think it's, if you go to the store, it's there, it's available, you think grapes is on the outer fringe here, is in Chile. You're getting them from Chile. And who knows if you're gonna go out further with globalization. Well, we decided to reverse this, and I put in a 100-foot diet challenge, and that means only one thing, is it's to counter industrial ag, I have backyard ag. Okay, to counter that. Because this is where you saw that people did this before, once, a long time ago. Maybe your parents remember this, but there were kitchen gardens, everybody had that, and they did it for a reason. To save money, but also to win a war back then, but we're trying to win freedom. And here's a formula, you might have heard this before, but we've added something to it. These people have brought this formula out, and it says, we added this: grow your own food in your own backyard. If not in your backyard, then locally produced. If not locally produced, then organic. If not organic, then family farm. If not family farm, then local business. Keep it local. If not a local business, then fair trade. This is the formula you can do to gain back control. You know, right now we're losing it. It's just slipping away from us. Every generation loses a little bit more control, and we're in danger of losing big time. So what we have is we decided to counter corporations, because corporations being under one roof, they want to simplify, they want convenience, they want something that they can repeat. They want an assembly line, and we countered that with diversity. Okay, so I will grow 400 varieties on my property in a year, just for the hell of it, because I mean, even if they don't work, I will grow something. If it doesn't have to work, just to say, I did this. The seed will grow. I don't have to get any food from it, but we will try our hardest to get diversity. So the illustrations I have about diversity for you is when you go and sit down at your computer, and you're interested in printing up something, your paper or a poster, what are you going to face? What are some of the hurdles? What's the first hurdle you're going to face? And it happens in my house all the time regularly, because we're printing up posters, and I have to be called in to look at something. And what I'm facing is a choice, an over-choice, a paralysis of choices in the font. Okay, in the availability of the fonts. How many fonts do you think are available in a software package? You want to guess about how many fonts? You have a choice now. See how much choice you have here.
150.
Okay, you said 150 is a choice. I mean, is a guess. Anybody else? Guess higher than that. That's cold. Guess way high.
300.
Okay, one software package offers 3,500 plus available fonts for you to mess around with. Okay, Headline images are 13,000 headline images. If you want to look for that, if I figured at two a minute, you would be an hour and a half just trying to figure it out. Another one is, and you can help me with this, tell me what shoe brands are out there. Look at your feet and give me a selection of shoe brands you got. What's the shoe brands?
Adidas.
Adidas is a shoe brand?
Skechers.
Okay. Any more than besides the regular Nike, Adidas? Okay. Birkenstock. Okay, that's an eco. There you go. That's an eco shoe stock. Okay, now you think you're all set, because this is for individuals. I mean, everybody's got their individual shoes. I wonder how many people have the same shoes in here. I mean, you think so? I mean, I wonder how many every person has an individual brand. That's so individual of you. So, what do you think? How many brands of shoes you think are out there? We'll start with the ladies. Okay, on the Zappos.com website, the number of women's shoe brands are how many?
1,000.
Oh, there are 1,000. Whoa, now I should have calmed you down a little bit. Okay. Okay. Zappos.com lists 505 shoe brands for women. Coming up behind them is 340 shoe brands for men. Do you need 340 shoe brands? And last but not least, but the children are coming in at 181 shoe brands. Now, when I was growing up, a long time ago, we had one brand of tennis shoes. They wouldn't call it any. It was shoe for everything: basketball, baseball, hiking, everything. It was tennis shoes, and they were called Keds. Okay, Keds. That was it. My biggest choice in going to store, I was in and out of that store, okay, because all I had to do is, my size 5 or size 6. That's all I had to do. You know, put the thing on the thing and say, okay, you're now size 6. Give me my Keds, I'm out of here. It was a marvel of industrial, expansion, is that we got Converse. Converse, and we thought, man, that was amazing. Well, what happened between those two brands and the thousands of brands available today? And do you need that much brands for your individual choices? So you have a situation where food is not in the same category. The shoe brands and everything else, the font availability is expanding, and in diversity of food, the food diversity is lessening. So we have the crops that are happening here. The origin of mankind for the food was 10,000 plant species available for everyone to eat from, 10,000 varieties. Today, 150. Okay, now where's the 9,000? What happened to the 9,900 there? Okay, the 150 species make up most of the diet of the world, but going further than that, there's 12, only 12, that make up 80% of the diet, just 12. And of those 12, 4, okay, so these are the top 4 that make up 6 out of 10 of what you eat. Every 10 products you eat, food products you eat, 6 out of 10 will be from these 4. What are they? Corn. Rice. Wheat. Potatoes. Potatoes. Don't forget those fries. Okay. Now, if you're looking at this, if you're looking at 4, and we're not talking also one, we got wheat, okay, but then you have many varieties of wheat. You could say, well, look, we've got wheat, there's varieties in the wheat field, but you're looking at, they're getting lower and lower, like the potato famine from Ireland happened because they were growing one type of potato. And the wheat out there and the corn, they're standardized. They just want the same wheat all the time. No difference, no variety. Now this is a risk for everybody because it's an unacceptable risk, because what you're doing is playing roulette with our future. And I don't want to gamble. I don't want to play Vegas. Vegas is supposed to be for fun. You can lose and still come home. This one, there might not be a home in food. So here's something happening to the gardeners in Italy, and it's an older generation, and you have to be aware of that. There's a generation they were kind of the keepers of the seeds. And here's the article, I'll read it to you. Gino's neat two-story house does not look like a depository for precious genetic material. And with his missing teeth and worn sweater and weathered face, Gino, 84, seems an unlikely hero in the quest to preserve the biodensity in the face of climate change. He is one of the de facto guardians of disappearing fruits, grains, and vegetables. Time is working against them. Most of them are very old, and as they die, their plants die with them. Another man, Girino, 72, said, "I'm the last of the line. I'm an antique. My children love eating good food. They drive up here and take away the beans, the parsley, the pears, and the melons and lemons. But as for drying seeds to save the species, they won't do it." Now, with diversity, the deal there is you're going to have so many different genes and so many different combinations that could happen. Tell me why, I have 5 reasons here, that the diversity of food crops is essential, just to being diverse.
Okay, that brings down the risk of them being wiped out from disease, for example.
Very good. Okay, protection, number one, one of the reasons, protection against viral disease, pesticides, and pest and viruses wiping out the entire crop. Okay, another one?
Well, just like the diversity in your diet is better nutritionally.
Okay, that's right. Another one is it's better for your health because you're eating more of the things out there instead of one thing over and over again. Okay, it can't supply all the things that your body needs. In fact, you have to ask yourself, what happened to all the others, the varieties are out there. So if I ask you this question, if I tell you carrot, what would you come back, what word would you bring back to me? What color would you bring back? Okay, does anybody know other colors?
White.
Okay, that's good. There's white, there's purple, there's red, and there's yellow. Now, according to the student's response there about health, don't you think that the light that's taking a carrot from orange, another carrot's red, don't you think there's a wavelength that's going into that carrot to make it red? And don't you think that would be nice to be able to ingest a different wavelength in your diet? And if you want to take a look at all the sicknesses, and don't tell me if you haven't watched TV lately, there's the big, besides industrial agriculture, the big menace out there is pharmaceutical companies that are just taking over. There's just so much drugs, every commercial is about that. So there's a reason for the colors. Now, anybody else with other? Okay, we have protection and we have better health. Okay, we have something called global warming. Okay, and as the climate changes, which one of those varieties might be able to stand it? Which one might be able to adapt? So would a red carrot make it better than an orange carrot? Would a white carrot make it better? Maybe in the snow, who knows? Would something be better when the climate changes? So you're looking for alternatives. Now, when alternatives are gone, and they're gone forever, you don't get a choice. You can't say, oops, there's no oopses, no take-backs. Not like in any kind of games. You can go rewind. There's also let's see, that's right, I had 4, so I guess I got them. Okay, there's also a question here about apples. What would if I asked you the apples, can you give me some feedback on apples? What would you think the type of apples that are out there? Okay, there's red. Most people answer with red, green, yellow. Okay, 3 varieties, right? Okay, over the last century, just last century, how many people do you think are here today? About 100, you think? Okay. Okay, take yourselves 100, and I give you all an individual apple, and then take 60 times that, 60 of you, and we had 6,000 varieties of apples at the turn of the century. Okay, we're down. We've lost those 6,000. I'm sorry, we've lost 6,000. We're down now to what the store can hold, what people can think of. I don't know what the other 6,000 look like, but we've lost that many. So then we have, again with diversity here. Okay, this is this one, no problem. We would like to see whales survive. They're huge. They make a difference. When they're gone, people can tell that they're gone. They're enormous. Okay, this one of course, that's majestic. Who would want to lose that majestic symbol for environment? How about this nice, cute little creature? Nobody wants to lose your panda, okay? I mean, that would be a crime, okay? Now, who would want to lose this? It's a squash seed. I mean, who cares? Does it look fun? Can that make a poster? Can I get you to vote on who wants to save this? Go out and campaign to save this, and who wants to save that? Okay, it just doesn't work. Okay, so this one, by time you leave, don't worry about that one because I got plenty. But every 6 hours, one unique vegetable is gone, is lost. Every 6 hours. When class is over and you go through dinner, and after dinner, and 4 more hours after this class, you've lost one more variety of vegetable. And back here is my answer to industrial ag. And maybe you've seen this before, but it might surprise you because I've grown them bigger. But it's my answer to crashing the global markets and bringing it back local. Okay, let me go down here and get this baby. Oh, I can't get it. Okay, here it comes. Okay. Oh, I can't get it out. Let me go the other way. There you go. Here it comes. Here it comes. Here it comes. Okay, it's my answer. Okay, and there's your seed cavity right here, and I can get more of those. I didn't really hurt that one, but what we have here is we have a pumpkin pie right here, this part, and then we have some pumpkin cookies, and then we have that pumpkin soup, and that pumpkin soup that just never seemed to die. Okay, now why in the world would this defeat the markets? Well, what's the number one reason? Transportation. Does anybody want to transport this sucker? Anybody want to put this on the truck? And how would you wrap this? How would you carry it? How would you box it? Okay, shipping and handling would be a nightmare. Okay, this comes straight out of the garden on your table. There's no way you're going to go to the store and have it in the store off the shelves, and the person says paper or plastic. You know, there's no paper or plastic in this one. And here's the if you see that one, this is what I was looking for at the beginning. Whoa! Did I miss that? Okay, here was a little one. Now maybe you campaign for this because it's so small. Okay, this is the baby of the family, and that's what it grows into. Okay, so maybe this has a chance if you see the babies here. So when you look at this, how easy it is to lose varieties like this, corporations would dare not put this on the list. Okay, they could not do that. We have other news here that in 1903, of 34 broccoli varieties, in 1903, and by 1983 there was 0 saved. That was 100% loss of those broccoli varieties. Of spinach, 109 down to 7, a 94% loss. I mean, this is scary stuff, and that was in 1983, and they're losing them all the time. So every like I said, one every 6 hours. So we're really up against it. So what do you now? Just to drive one more thing home, because you're all maybe you have any grandparents that you can ask, great-grandparents maybe, ask what they used to eat, because you must owe something to your grandparents. You must look at the civilization before you that got you here. That they had to eat right, they had to eat enough to be healthy enough to procreate and bring you to these seats. Okay, back in the 1900s, this dollar would represent their diet. This is what they would be eating in the 1900s. So on their plate, when they sat down at a family meal, they would be eating this amount of food, this amount of varieties of food. Okay? Today we're left with this. Today out there's 3 cents worth of food. Okay, 97% from your great-grandparents of what their diet was we're subsisting on 3 pennies. Now, on your watch, which is coming up, you know, when you get to work and you get your families going, on your watch, do you want to work on saving any of this? Because the other 97% is gone. Okay, and would you want to end up with your grandchildren giving them a penny? It might be a very lucky penny. Anybody here has won the lotto recently? Have anybody won here? Why are you here? No, has anybody won the lotto? Oh, see, I'm not lucky either. So I wouldn't count on luck on that. Don't count on it that it'll be there for you. So last year, I was in the class here at the same Education for Sustainable Living practice, and I mentioned that while gas prices were high, we still had our own human fuel. This was in April, and that was before the things got messy with biofuels taking up a lot of the food supply to produce fuel for cars, and then also the things going wacko with the stock market. And now I said back then, wait till food becomes a problem. Okay, well it is now. So now let's talk about some solutions that you should be asking yourself about what can you do. And real solutions get down to specific. And I know that one size does not fit all. Okay, I didn't come here to say do as I do, because I'm a unique individual in a unique situation. You're students, okay, but in your own way. Now it's not my way, but in your own way. This is where it comes individual. In your own way, on your own time. And at your own place or space, wherever you find that space, you can do something. There's something you can do. There's one thing that you can do. The amazing thing I heard from interacting with students is one person came up to me at an exhibit here in the square down here and told me that after hearing some of this, they went to their dorm and grew herbs in cups on the windowsill. Now, I would like to know, one day, hear from him, maybe he has a garden, but he had to start somewhere. You know, maybe it's like, oh, wow, you know, where's the grand opening? Well, there's no grand openings, okay? That's only for the big people. For small people, we have to have small openings, okay? And you might want to be big potato, but we're small potatoes, and we start with paper cups if you have to, but some gardening. And I also know there's an action research team for botanical gardens and landscaping. Get your hands in there. See what becomes of working with the soil. So you can start. Now, have some suggestions, and you can pitch them back to me, like that student said, I grew it in a cup. Fine, he has some herbs. That's how you start. Basically, they're weeds, you know, cultivated weeds or herbs, so you're not going to usually go bad with that. I heard some other people had problems with tomatoes, but herbs are pretty good. So you shop at farmers markets. You search out and support the small farmers, okay, and I know people do that here. Then you consider supporting organizations that are fighting against this corporate madness. And a lot of people say corporations, but now some people are turning, mad against the corporations, especially with all the bailout procedures happen. You don't want to bail out these guys who are making money. You don't want to bail out industrial ag when their work goes bust. So here, I don't know if you've ever seen this one, but this one came in from India. And do you know what's happening in India? Anybody heard the reports in India? Okay, well, GM sold them a bill of goods that they were going to have GMO, the Monsanto sold them a bill of goods that if they had GM crops, that they would be better. Well, it didn't happen that way. So they call it a suicide belt. And they've had people, they're farmers and their wives committing suicide because they can't pay the bills. Because when they come back and the seasons turn and they don't work out and there's more problems and they're higher prices, they're faced with despair. And this is what their way out is to have thousands of Indian farmers. I think the latest was 120,000 over a period of time. So you want to be passionate about this. Now I know money is hard to come by. All right, for students, it's scarce. We're not asking you for the money, and sometimes for the rich people, when they have too much money, just throw the money out there, and it's too easy. Okay, I'm asking you to spend your energy. Okay, there's energy that's so valuable that you need it to support the people, this program. the Organic Consumers Association. If you spread the word about Path to Freedom, we have a network now. We have a Facebook for freedom gardeners. It's called freedomgardens.org. If you have parents that are in the gardening field, or you want to be involved in the gardening field, we have them all over the world. We have them from Israel, from Sweden. We had one from Zimbabwe sign up. I mean, you can network with people and find out what's going on in the world on the local, not from the big news, but from face to face, man to man, woman to woman, gardener to gardener. So sometimes it's too easy to get past a problem. And this problem, when I was talking to one of the people over here, this problem is very acute for Southern California. There's just no space here, okay? You can't even get service stations on a corner. When I came first to Southern California, there was 3 service stations on a corner. Then there was 2, and now there's 1. Okay, you can't find land. The land is so valuable. You just look for spaces. Maybe you can find space on campus. But I know you can do this. You can try eating at ethnic restaurants. You can eat outside the fast food menu. Now, for the business majors around here and watching what the stock market is doing, you would obviously know to diversify your portfolio, but you can also diversify your food menu. Okay, that's a simple choice. You eat outside the fast food box, so eat outside that. As part of fraternities or sororities, you can plan a slow food potluck dinner. Get used to, however, sitting down for 2 hours. Okay, that's my record. So my family's record, we invited a bunch of friends and we sat down for 4 courses, whatever, and it was 2 hours sitting down. Guess what? We talked. Strange. Eat, talk, eat some more, talk some more. Just 2 hours. Experiment with new dishes. Challenge your taste buds. I'm not asking for you to go Fear Factor on me. I'm not asking you to get gross on me. I'm asking you to get exotic. Now, there's some exotic stuff out there. Cut out the fries and go for some yams or something. There's got to be something out there for you. A fraternity last year, and I don't know what happened to them, but they came after this program to talk to me, and they were on campus. They wanted some advice on growing edibles instead of grass in their back fraternity yard. I wish them well. I don't keep track of them. I don't know what happened to them, but they were intent on trying to do whatever, you see? The worst thing is to be inactive. Then you let other people win by you not even entering the game, by you not even showing up on the field. Now, one time you might be able to contact the campus food service and see what could be changed on their menu. You have to keep food in the picture because food is close to my heart. No, food is close to everybody's heart, okay? And food is an education. Now, there's cultures in Europe that are based on food, okay? America has kind of ruined a culture. There's no really, what's fast food anymore? But fast. Does it taste like anything? Would you say wow? For your umpteenth Big Mac or something? I don't know if you could do that. But ask a lot of questions. What do people eat? How do they farm in other parts of the world? What did they do in the past eras? Now, I took to asking my children, just as rhetorical, I kept saying, when I got into a situation, I said, how'd they do that in the old days? I mean, what did they do before air conditioning? I mean, come on, we're dying here. How'd they do? The people lived here before that. How'd they do that? What did they use back then? So I posed that challenge to my son, because we were using big disposable razors. And he went and got himself a straight razor that will last him so long by stropping it that he'll pass it on to his children and might pass on to the grandchildren and never find its way out of the family. It will never find its way to a dump, okay? But I got myself in trouble because when I looked at that straight razor and I put my hand to that straight razor and I tried to, my nerves couldn't take it. Now, he's really good, but I'm still shaving with razors. Yeah, forgive me. Okay. But I can't go that far. I just can't. I mean, my nerves don't take it. I don't want to bleed yet for that. But I passed it along to my children. Okay? He is going to show his child, here, he's going to train him when he's young to hold that razor right and scrape it, on solid. a solid blade, no protection there. So he came out bleeding a couple times. So that solved it for me. But it is about beginning, okay? And all I did was I encouraged him to find out what they did in the old days, and he took it seriously, okay? And he's off. He's off and going, and it's going to change his world, and it's going to change his family's world. And if everybody did that, change their own world, we'd be in a better shape. But we've been leaving it up to industrial ag or corporations. And it is all about beginning. And this program has presented you with good reasons to begin. And it's up to you. This is a special time in your life. The youth, and especially the students, are historically famous for resistance. Now look at your movements in history, and where do they start? Okay? And resistance is not futile. Resistance is fertile. There must be resistance to the dangerous forces at work. I've tried to tell you my response to industrial ag. It's a dangerous force. It's a beware of the phony promises, the magic seeds. The future looks bright and rosy. They did that on the film with DDT. They came out of the World War II, and they had built up these chemical companies, and they wanted to know, what do you do with this chemical company? We'll have them produce these chemicals to sell to the unsuspecting public. And they had DDT is good for me jingles, and they put them on the air, and everybody was singing DDT is good for me. A couple years later, so many years later, and DDT is one of the heinous chemicals you can find that they did to unsuspecting people. So the forces are great. The forces are great. There's no doubt about it. But you cannot and you dare not let them win. You cannot not take the field. There's got to be a field, storming the field, like you do after a football game, before the field game. Storm the field, represent yourself as not taking this any longer. That's your protest. And there was one, I'd like to end on this, the Future Food. If anybody's seen that documentary, Future Food? Okay. Okay, I had Deborah Kuntz Garcia, who made that. She came out to our place to screen the film at Path of Freedom. She graced us to come down and talk to the people. And afterwards, in the conversations, I said, that's pretty rough out there, what you put on there. How are people taking it? And she said they eliminated the scary parts. Okay, if you saw scary stuff on that film, they edited out the rough stuff that they knew people could not take. Okay, if you want definition of horror movie, that is a horror movie that's behind a horror movie, and that scares me more than any other Hollywood horror movie, where they're trying to scare you, but you're not scared about the right things. Okay, this person told me straight out they had to remove scary stuff. That's how bad it is. Well, can you handle it? Can you handle the scary stuff? Well, you must be the one that must be resisting. You must be the one to resist. And you must be the one to resist. So, it's in your hands. You must stand up, and you must say what I've told you to say. What's the word? Resist. Resist. Okay, but that was kind of weak. So bring me back to my 60s beginning. Could you all stand up? Just bring me back to my 60s beginning. Give me a little nostalgia right here for the 60s beginning. Now, you know the word. Okay, so now, could you just shout it out so you can blast this microphone here? Could you blast it out? So, ready? 1, 2, 3. Resist! One more time. Resist! Now I'm back in the 60s. Okay.